My brothers and sisters, listen to me today. Because when God is getting ready to move in your life, when heaven is about to release something heavy, holy, and life-altering into your hands, God does not leave you wandering in the dark. Our Father is not a God of confusion. He is a God of order, a God of preparation, a God who speaks through patterns and signs. And if you learn how to watch with spiritual eyes and listen with a yielded heart, you will notice the clues long before the blessing ever shows up. Whenever God is preparing to trust you with something big, the first thing you feel usually is not comfort, but conflict, not celebration, but pressure. You would think the road to your miracle would be wide open, smooth, and simple, but many of you know this by experience. It is often right before the breakthrough that the warfare becomes the loudest. Suddenly, the resistance increases, the frustration multiplies, the disappointments start to feel personal, and the enemy creeps in and whispers, "See, nothing is changing. Your prayers are not working. God has forgotten you." But hear this clearly, that increase in pressure is not proof that God has left you. It is evidence that the enemy has noticed you. Hell is not all-knowing, but it is observant. The devil cannot read the mind of God, but he can see when the hand of God is arranging something significant around your life. So what does he do? He sends distractions. He stirs up confusion. He tries to poison your thoughts with lies like, "You are not ready for this. You are going to fail. You do not deserve what you are asking for. God is tired of you." His goal is simple: to wear you down in your mind, so you walk away in your heart before you step into what God has already spoken over you. You look around and ask, why now? Why is everything hitting me at the same time? Why does it feel like the battle got harder right when I started getting serious about God? It is not random. It is not accidental. It is strategic. Whenever God is about to enlarge your territory, the enemy will try to make you retreat. Before you ever taste the victory, he will push you to question what you heard from God, to doubt what you saw in prayer, to abandon what you once believed with confidence. If he cannot steal the blessing itself, he will attack your confidence to walk in it. That is why you must recognize what kind of battle you are in. This is not just about a manager at work who suddenly turned against you. This is not just about friends who stopped answering your calls. This is not just about the bills on your table, the report from the doctor, or the doors that slammed in your face. This is spiritual. This is warfare. This is a clash between the word God has declared over your life and the agenda the enemy is desperate to stop. And the main battlefield is not your paycheck or your house or even your reputation. The battlefield is your mind. If the enemy can cloud your thoughts, he can weaken your faith. If he can flood you with fear, he can freeze your obedience. That is why in this season, you cannot afford to be casual with your soul. You must dig your heels into the word of God. You must guard what you meditate on. You must refuse to surrender your mind to every feeling, every rumor, and every lie, because the pressure you feel right now is not a sign that you are far from breakthrough. It is a sign that you are close. The hotter the fire, the nearer the refinement, the louder the attack, the greater the assignment. On the other side, you would not be facing this level of resistance if what was coming was small. The enemy does not waste energy on empty threats. He targets what carries value. He resists what carries purpose. He fights what carries destiny. So in moments like these, prayer is not a side activity. It is your lifeline. Worship is not a luxury. It is a weapon. Standing on the promises of God is not a religious phrase. It is how you survive the storm. You have to remind your soul who you are in Christ and whose hand is holding your future. You have to speak the word. When you do not feel strong, pray. When you do not see results, praise. When you do not understand the plan, because this season you are in right now is not permanent, it is preparation. If you endure this warfare with God, you will step into the reward with God. Sometimes when God is preparing to release something massive into your life, He doesn't start by dropping blessings into your hands. No, He begins by disturbing what feels stable. It's not punishment, it's preparation. God starts stirring areas you thought were settled. A holy shaking begins. A rearranging of structures you believed were unbreakable. Doors you once leaned on suddenly refuse to open. People you trusted begin acting differently, becoming distant without explanation. Plans you were confident unravel right before your eyes. And naturally, your first thought is, why is this happening? Is this spiritual attack? Did I make a wrong move? Did God forget me? But listen, you are not under destruction. You are under divine construction. God is removing what cannot go with you. He is clearing away what would block the blessing. He is cutting off relationships that would choke the growth coming your way. Where God is taking you, your current surroundings can't sustain it. Your next assignment is too powerful to be held inside the boundaries of your familiar comfort zone. So God disrupts what you think is permanent to transport you into what is promised. You might lose a job you thought was secure, but God saw the future pressure that Job would put on your spirit. You might watch a relationship fall apart that you prayed would last, but God knew that connection would betray your calling later. You might see opportunities slip away that look perfect, but God knew those opportunities were too small for the destiny He designed specifically for you. Disruption doesn't feel holy, but it is. Heaven is strategic. Even when earth looks messy, what you call loss, God calls launching. If He didn't close certain doors, you would stay stuck in places He already moved on from. If He didn't shake up your plan, you would keep trusting the wrong foundation. Sometimes the very things you're crying over are the things God removed because He heard conversations you didn't hear and saw attacks you couldn't see. We as humans often cling to comfort. We become attached to safe. We settle for familiar, even if familiar is slowly killing us. We stay connected to what drains us. We hold on to routines that shrink us. We tolerate environments that limit us. So God, in His mercy, pushes us out of what we would never leave on our own. He lets the temporary collapse so the eternal can be built. He shakes loose what is unstable so He can establish what is unshakable. He interrupts the script you wrote for yourself so He can write the story that truly reflects His glory. Divine disruption is God saying, I have more for you, and I refuse to let you miss it. Yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it feels confusing. Yes, it feels personal. Yes, you may cry over it, but listen carefully. Comfort is not the sign of God's will. Growth is. Before God opens a new door, He often allows a few others to slam shut. The question in this season is not, why is this happening to me? The better question is, Lord, what are you making space for? Because every time God empties your hands, it is only to fill them with something better. Every empty room is a room God intends to furnish again with something greater, stronger, more aligned with purpose. You are not being abandoned. You are being advanced. You are not being rejected. You are being redirected. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned ahead. The shaking may feel like a setback, but it's actually God moving you toward a setup. So if the ground beneath you is moving, if everything feels unstable, if the old connections are fading, if the plan has changed without your permission, don't panic, don't run back, don't fight to restore what God removed. You are not stuck, you are shifting. Divine disruption is God's first major sign. that something big is on its way into your life. Because when God gets ready to elevate you, he will not let you stay in a place that no longer matches the size of your future. Let me tell you this clearly. God doesn't shake what has no purpose. He doesn't prune branches that aren't producing fruit. He doesn't disrupt what he isn't preparing to upgrade. That's why the enemy is trying to convince you that this is the end. He wants you to believe your world is collapsing. But what looks like collapsing is actually God collapsing the wrong things so he can build the right thing. With eternal strength, you didn't come this far to settle. You didn't survive the attack just to stay average. You didn't pray all those prayers just to remain where you started. God invested too much in you to let you live small for the rest of your life. So when everything feels like it's shifting, that's your spiritual clue that your future is calling louder than your past. You're not losing security. You're stepping into destiny. You're not breaking. You're being built again. You're not being reduced. You're being restructured for greater capacity. If your life is being shaken, it's because God is getting ready to pour something heavy into you. The disruption is not an ending. It's a delivery notification from heaven. Another clear sign that God is preparing you for something bigger is when an inner stirring begins to rise inside you. This is not anxiety, not fear, not frustration. This is a spiritual shift happening in your inner world. You can be blessed. You can be favored. You can be comfortable. But something inside still whispers, you can't stay here. There is more. This holy unrest isn't because you are ungrateful. It's because you are outgrowing the seas. On your end, the same routine that once gave peace now feels too small. The conversations you used to enjoy now leave you empty. The places you once felt at home now feel tight, even suffocating. You are not broken. You are becoming. Others won't understand. They will say, why can't you be satisfied? Why are you trying to change your life? You should be grateful for what you have. But fine is not what God promised you. Good enough is not your destiny. Comfort is not your calling. God didn't bring you through everything just for you to settle. When God stirs your spirit, it's because your future is calling louder than your past. This internal tension is a sign that transition is happening. Even before anything visible changes, you may still live in the same house, still work the same job, still sit in the same environment, still walk through the same routine, but inside, a shift has begun. You start dreaming again. You start writing plans again. You start seeing visions again. You start praying, Lord, show me what's next. That hunger is not random. It is planted by God to prepare you for where he is taking you next. You may feel torn, one foot in the old and one foot pressing toward the new. The most confusing seasons are often the in-between seasons, not where you used to be, not yet where you're going. This is where most people give up because they misinterpret restlessness as wrong direction. But no, this is God awakening you. It's the spiritual version of him saying, you've stayed here long enough. It's time to move forward. Don't silence the stirring. Don't drown it in distractions. Don't let the opinions of people convince you to stay in a place God is pulling you away from when your spirit begins to say, I need more of God, more growth, more purpose, more impact. That is divine agitation. It is the faith are preparing you to step into a bigger assignment. Sit with that stirring. Pray through it. Invite God into it. Ask him, Lord, what are you preparing me for? What should I release in this season? Where are you calling me to go? Because before God moves your feet, he moves your focus. Before he changes your environment, he changes your expectation. Restlessness is your spiritual alarm clock. It won't let you oversleep destiny. You feel like you don't fit anymore because the place you're in was never meant to be permanent. It was preparation, a training ground, a stepping stone, a pit stop, not your final address. And God will not allow you to make a temporary season your permanent identity. This is the blessing beneath the discomfort. God disturbs your peace when what you call peace is actually complacency. He disrupts your satisfaction when your satisfaction would destroy the seed of your purpose. He takes away your appetite for things that are beneath your calling. The stirring is an announcement. Get ready. There is an assignment ahead that requires a larger version of you. God is stretching you so that when the door opens, you're bold enough to walk through. Holy restlessness is not a sign of something wrong. It is a sign that something right is on the way. So if you feel too big for the space you're standing in, it's because your purpose has grown. If you feel uncomfortable in what once felt perfect, it's because God is upgrading you. If you feel the urge to rise and build and expand, it's because God is saying, you cannot shrink to fit where I'm sending you. You must grow to carry what I'm about to give you. Listen closely. You aren't dissatisfied with life. You're dissatisfied with small. God is calling you upward, forward, higher. Don't fight the stirring. Follow it because this restlessness is your end. Near confirmation that your next season is near, and it will be bigger, fuller, and greater than where you are currently standing. This is sign number 2, that God is about to give you something big. He makes your current space too small for the future he placed inside you. My brothers and sisters, listen carefully. One of the strongest signs that God is preparing to release something major in your life is when the attacks intensify. Before every blessing, there's a battle. Before every elevation, there is opposition. Before every breakthrough, there is pressure. You begin to wonder, why now? Why so many problems at once? Why this level of stress? Why does everything feel like it's falling apart? But the truth is this, the warfare increases when your blessing is close. The enemy doesn't fight empty places. He fights threats. He fights destiny. He fights anything that carries spiritual value. If you were going nowhere, he would leave you alone. But because you are stepping into purpose, he tries to push you backward before you step forward. Suddenly, people you love turn cold. Bills stack up unexpectedly. Friends distance themselves. Opportunities fall through. Your peace is attacked. Your confidence is shaken. And you say, Lord, what did I do wrong? But hear this. You are not under punishment. You are under preparation. The devil cannot stop what God is about to give you. So he tries to make you quit before you receive it. He wants you discouraged. He wants you exhausted. He wants you spiritually drained. But this season is not to destroy you. It's strengthening your spiritual muscles. Tests refine your faith. Trials sharpen your focus. Challenges build your character. God allows the battle. So when the blessing comes, you won't crumble under the weight of it. Right before a seed breaks through the soil, the PR is greatest underground. Right before a woman gives birth, the pain is at its peak. You are in that moment. What you feel is birthing pain, not breaking pain. The devil tries to whisper, you're too weak, you're not qualified, you're forgotten, you're failing, you're alone. But the fact he is speaking means he is threatened. He sees what you don't yet see. He knows God's hand is on you. He recognizes growth even when you still feel stuck. Hear me. The attack is not happening because you are going backward. It's happening because you are getting closer. God is toughening your faith. He is training your spirit. He is upgrading your resilience. What feels like warfare is proof of spiritual promotion. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. Stand firm. Don't retreat. Don't surrender your ground. The harder the season, the greater the glory on the other side. Even Jesus wasn't a crowned king without first facing the cross. Even David wasn't enthroned without first defeating Goliath. Even Joseph wasn't promoted without first being thrown into the pit and the prison. Every major destiny will be preceded by major warfare. Don't misinterpret the fight as the absence of God. He has not abandoned you. He is walking you into the victory prepared for you. Remind the enemy, I will not break. I will not bow. I will not quit. I will stand on God's promises. Because when God is developing a warrior, he puts them in battles that require courage over comfort and faith over feelings. When your faith survives the fire, you come out with favor. This is the season where your knees may buckle, but your spirit must stay strong. Keep praying when you don't feel like praying. Keep worshiping when the weight is heavy. Keep believing when fear is loud. Keep marching when your strength seems gone, because the pressure is not a sign to panic. It is a sign to push. If the devil can't defeat you, he will try to distract you. If he can't steal the blessing, he will try to steal your confidence to walk in it. But today, you recognize the strategy. This fight is not about your past. It is about your future. This pain is not a setback. It is a push forward. This season is not breaking you. It is building you. So let this be your declaration. I refuse to give up before I step up. The battle proves the blessing is near. This is the third sign that God is about to give you something big. Pressure increases because your breakthrough is close. Another powerful sign that God is about to release something big into your life is when favor begins to find you. I'm not talking about ordinary favor, the kind that makes sense on paper. I'm talking about supernatural favor. The kind that leaves people asking, how did they get that? How did they end up in that room? How did they receive what others competed for? This is when God steps in and does for you what you could not do for yourself. You'll suddenly notice opportunities coming that you didn't apply for. People speaking your name in rooms you've never entered. Open doors replacing long seasons of closed ones. Access you didn't earn by qualifications. Acceleration you didn't achieve by effort. And you know, this must be God because you didn't push your way in. The door opened to you. Favor is God's announcement. I am backing you. I am promoting you. I am making a way for you. When God is getting ready to release something greater, he aligns the right people at the right time to support the vision he placed inside you. Someone recommends you. Someone blesses you. Someone gives you a chance others refuse to give. Not by your manipulation, not by your networking, not by your resume, but by his hand. And hear me well, when God's hand is on your life, no human hand can block it. Favor will put you at the table when you have no seat reserved, elevate you above those who try to diminish you, lift your voice where others tried to silence you. Some people will not understand how it happened, and they don't have to, because God alone will get the glory. Favor exposes hearts too. Some will rejoice with you. Others will resent you. Jealousy rises when God raises you. But don't shrink so others feel comfortable. Don't apologize for God blessing you. Don't hide what God is highlighting. Stay humble, but do not deny the blessing. Walk through every door he opens with boldness and gratitude, because his favor is not just for your enjoyment, it's for your assignment. Every blessing has a purpose. Every open door has a mission. Every promotion has kingdom impact attached to it. God blesses you so you can bless others. He positions you so you can lift someone else. He gives resources so you can build what he's called you to build. Favor is not random. It's strategic. He is aligning people with influence, people with knowledge, people with access, people with faith. God is forming a support system around you because what he is giving you is too big for you to carry alone. Divine connections come with divine timing. You didn't miss your moment. Your moment is meeting you. Some of the people who rejected you were not meant to play a role in your future. Some of the people who walked away were not qualified for where God is sending you. God will disconnect wrong voices and send the right ones, and the right people won't be intimidated by your calling. They will celebrate it. They will strengthen it. They will activate it. Watch this. When God favors you, you won't have to chase opportunity. Opportunity will chase why? Ow. You won't have to open every door. The right doors will unlock when you arrive. You won't have to fight every battle. Favor becomes your shield. And here is the reassuring truth. No enemy can shut a door that heaven has swung open. They may try, they may plot, they may gossip, they may doubt, but they cannot undo what God has already ordained. So if you're seeing sudden shifts, new opportunities, new relationships, new positioning, new access, don't be afraid. Don't question it. Don't sabotage it with fear or insecurity. Receive it. Thank God for it. Step boldly into it. This is a sign, a clear sign, a powerful sign that God is preparing to elevate you. This is sign number 4. Doors are opening. Because your assignment is opening, favor is moving. Because your purpose is moving. You don't have to force this season. Just follow God's lead. When God is about to bless you in a big way, He doesn't just shift your surroundings. He shifts your senses. Suddenly you start seeing things differently. You start feeling things deeper. You start hearing God clearer. What used to sound normal now grieves your spirit. What you used to ignore, now you can't ignore anymore. That's because God needs you spiritually awake for where He's taking you. He begins dialing up your discernment. He heightens your awareness of the spiritual realm. You begin to notice warnings you once overlooked, red flags you once excused, distractions you once entertained, voices you once trusted, environments you once tolerated. And something inside you says, this doesn't align with who I am becoming. That relationship no longer feeds my spirit. I can't stay comfortable in places where God is not present. It's not arrogance. It's spiritual maturity. The closer you get to your destiny, the less noise you can afford to entertain. Your soul becomes allergic to drama, gossip, negativity, spiritual complacency, because God is calling you higher. He is preparing you for a blessing that requires a pure heart and a sharper spirit. You begin to hunger for His presence. You open your Bible more. You pray with more urgency. You worship with deeper tears. This hunger is not random. It is divine. God is saying, I need you close to me so you won't miss the instructions attached to this next season. When God is about to give you something big, He wants you in tune with His voice so that when He says move, you don't hesitate. When He says wait, you don't panic. When He says trust me, you don't waver. Your convictions grow stronger. Your boundaries become clearer. Your peace becomes non-negotiable. Things you once laughed off now disturb your spirit. People you once allowed access now feel like a threat to your purpose. This is protection, not restriction. God is removing contamination so the oil on your life can flow without interference. You begin to discern spiritual attacks quicker. You look at situations and immediately know that wasn't coincidence. That was the enemy trying to distract me. You catch manipulation before it grips you. You notice deception before it bites you. You sense danger before it reaches you. This is spiritual elevation. This is God strengthening your spiritual armor. Before you step into new territory, your heart gets softer toward God and harder toward sin. Your ears grow sensitive to His whisper and deaf to the enemy's noise. Your eyes begin to see purpose in places you once saw pain. And sometimes This new sensitivity makes life uncomfortable. You may feel out of place. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel like you don't fit circles you once begged to belong to, because God is separating you from what can't go with you. Elevation requires isolation. He is not isolating you to abandon you. He is isolating you to anoint you. There are instructions coming. There are assignments approaching. There are blessings being positioned, and he needs you spiritually alert. Hear this. Before God changes your situation, he changes your discernment, so you don't mishandle what's coming, so you don't attach to the wrong people, so you don't enter the right season with the wrong mindset. Your increased spiritual sensitivity is proof that heaven is talking about you. God sharpened Joseph's interpretation before the throne called his name. God sharpened David's courage before the crown rested on his head. God sharpened Esther's discernment before she stepped into royalty. You are in that sharpening season, and it may feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary, because the blessing God is bringing requires wise steps and spirit-led decisions. So if you've noticed lately, your prayer life rising, your worship deepening, your conviction strengthening, your discernment growing, your desire for holiness increasing, celebrate it. That is God preparing you to carry something powerful without dropping it. This is the fifth sign that God is about to give you something big. He sharpens its spiritual maturity. The closer you get to your destiny, the less noise you can afford to entertain. Your soul becomes allergic to drama, gossip, negativity, spiritual complacency, because God is calling you higher. He is preparing you for a blessing that requires a pure heart and a sharper spirit. You begin to hunger for his presence. You open your Bible more. You pray with more urgency. You worship with deeper tears. This hunger is not random, it is divine. God is saying, I need you close to me so you won't miss the instructions attached to this next season. When God is about to give you something big, he wants you in tune with his voice, so that when he says move, you don't hesitate. When he says wait, you don't panic. When he says trust me, you don't waver. Your convictions grow stronger. Your boundaries become clearer. Your peace becomes non-negotiable. Things you once laughed off now disturb your spirit. People you once allowed access now feel like a threat to your purpose. This is protection, not restriction. God is removing contamination so the oil on your life can flow without interference. You begin to discern spiritual attacks quicker. You look at situations and immediately know that wasn't coincidence. That was the enemy trying to distract me. You catch manipulation before it grips you. You notice deception before it bites you. You sense danger before it reaches you. This is spiritual elevation. This is God strengthening your spiritual armor. Before you step into new territory, your heart gets softer toward God and harder toward sin. Your ears grow sensitive to his whisper and deaf to the enemy's noise. Your eyes begin to see purpose in places you once saw pain. And sometimes this new sensitivity makes life uncomfortable. You may feel out of place. You may feel You may feel like you don't fit circles you once begged to belong to, because God is separating you from what can't go with you. Elevation requires isolation. He is not isolating you to abandon you. He is isolating you to anoint you. There are instructions coming. There are assignments approaching. There are blessings being positioned, and he needs you spiritually alert. Hear this. Before God changes your situation, he changes your discernment, so you don't mishandle what's coming, so you don't attach to the wrong people, so you don't enter the right season with the wrong mindset. Your increased spiritual sensitivity is proof that heaven is talking about you. God sharpened Joseph's interpretation before the throne called his name. God sharpened David's courage before the crown rested on his head. God sharpened Esther's discernment before she stepped into royalty. You are in that sharpening season, and it may feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary because the blessing God is bringing requires wise steps and spirit-led decisions. So if you've noticed lately, your prayer life rising, your worship deepening, your convictions strengthening, your discernment growing, your desire for holiness increasing, celebrate it. That is God preparing you to carry something powerful without dropping it. This is the fifth sign that God is about to give you something big. He sharpens your spiritual sensitivity so you can navigate your new season with wisdom and clarity. Prepare yourself, because the blessing ahead requires a sharper version of you than the one behind. There is one final sign, one final confirmation that God is about to release something big into your life. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not emotional chaos. It is supernatural peace. This peace does not come because everything looks good. It comes while everything still looks impossible. This peace does not show up when the storm ends. It shows up in the middle of the storm. It is that quiet voice in your soul saying, you are still safe. You are still chosen. You are still on schedule. God is still in control. Nothing around you may be changing, but something inside you has changed. Your heart is no longer panicking. Your mind is no longer racing. Your spirit is no longer drowning in doubt. Even when the enemy tries to intimidate you, you feel anchored. Even when others expect you to break down, you find yourself standing tall. Even when circumstances scream defeat, your spirit whispers, victory is already mine. That peace is proof that heaven is working behind the scenes. It's God saying, you don't have to understand the how, just trust the who. I've already prepared the answer. This is the kind of peace that Daniel had in the lion's den. This is the kind of peace that David had standing before Goliath. This is the kind of peace that Jesus had. In the boat while the storm raged, everything around them said panic, but everything inside them said peace. That is what God is giving you in this season. Your situation hasn't shifted yet, but your spirit already knows. The blessing is near. Your physical eyes say not yet, but your spiritual eyes say and. Moment now, you wake up in the morning with a calm confidence. I can't explain it. I can't prove it yet, but I know God is about to do something. That is not denial. That is discernment. It's not false hope. It's faith. This peace is heaven's notification that the promise is at the door. Peace acts as a guard over your mind. When fear tries to creep in, peace blocks it. When doubt tries to whisper, peace silences it. When anxiety tries to choke you, peace breaks the grip. The enemy hates when God gives you peace because he knows a peaceful believer is a powerful believer. A peaceful believer is hard to manipulate. A peaceful believer is difficult to discourage. A peaceful believer cannot be defeated by fear. So if the enemy can't stop the blessing, he will try to steal your peace before it arrives. He'll try to make you overthink. He'll try to trigger panic. He'll try to drain your joy. But that's when God steps in and places his hand on your heart and says, rest. You've done your part. Now watch me do mine. Peace is God's final preparation. Peace is God's final promise. Peace is God's final. Yet, before the blessing appears, people around you may look confused. They will ask, how are you still smiling? The text. Peace is heaven's way of saying, get ready. What you prayed for is about to appear in your hands. If you are sensing this supernatural peace, this calm in the middle of your storm, this quiet confidence that makes no sense to your situation, take heart. This peace is heaven's announcement. It is God whispering to your spirit, get positioned. Something big is on the way. God is settling you now, so you'll be strong enough to carry what he's about to release. Doors are preparing to open. Breakthroughs are aligning. Divine opportunities are heading straight into your life. And when the blessing arrives, you will not be overwhelmed. You will be ready. So stay faithful. Stay focused. Stay expectant. Because this peace you feel is the final sign that you are standing right on the edge of something only God can bring to pass.